Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Javier In the Air. I know it's been a little crazy this past 9 months, I guess. I've had a lot of things going on here, a lot of missed interviews and unable to get people to do interviews. So I'm just trying to mix things a little bit up this time. However, if you are interested in being interviewed and you are passionate about something, no religion, no politics, of course, and you want to be on the show and you'd like to talk a little bit about your business, or you just like to be on the show and kind of talk about something you're passionate about, then by all means let me know. I know with the new Delta variant, we might be back to, or we are back pretty much to social distancing, keeping that up, and masking. However, I am vaccinated, and everybody I know is vaccinated. That comes around. We keep our social distance. So just feel free to ping me. We can always do a Zoom meeting like I did last season for a lot of people, since this was before vaccines. So if you want to do that, we can do that as well. And so just if you want to talk about anything, no politics or religion, then let me know. And there's a lot of people that are a couple of people that have asked me, why do I continue to say no politics or religion? And the thing is because a lot of the people I know and a lot of family members don't always see eye to eye on things like politics and religion. And so I try to keep those two out of my podcast. There are plenty of other podcasts that you can go to talk about how you feel about the Republicans, how you feel about the Democrats, how you feel about vaccines, how you feel about the Catholic Church, how you feel about the other religions, and so this is not the place for it. Go to those. I'm sure they would do much better. I'm sure you can find a podcast that is totally agreeing with your point of view on them, and I'm pretty sure my points of view would not match yours. So, that being said, everything else is pretty much up in the air. There is another craft fair coming in November. The closer we get to that, I'll try to have Crazy Stacy on here again and talk a little bit about where the proceeds go, where it's at this time, what time it is, what day it is, and so on and so forth. So we'll be doing that. So a lot of randomness. Someone told me the other day, your show seems to be quite random these days in the front part, and then of course the back part, it's all about alcohol of some sort. So that being said, I decided why not have a true randomness podcast. So let's get a little bit more random. So I talk a lot about my gardening and some of the random things that I've been trying to do. Growing the melons, growing the dwarf cherry tree that is out my front yard, and some of the things that I've done to try to get that going. So, for those of you who may or may not know, during Snowmageddon, which I actually made it onto a regular TV newscast, you can check it out by going and seeing the podcast, and you can see it, or search for my name. The snow basically killed a lot of the trees I have. And it happened to everyone in this area, the Cedar Park, Austin area, even this whole part of Texas, really, not just those two cities. The snow was pretty bad. I was lucky enough to have electricity because I live close to a senior assisted facility. So I didn't really lose power except for about a day. And I didn't lose any water at all. So I was able to get the broadcast out. But back to what I was saying. So it killed I want to say it was a Japanese maple that I had in my front yard, dead. Killed my ash in the backyard that was already kind of dying. They told me between 20 and 25 years, and this one was probably at about 30. So it was struggling. I was trying to see what I could do to keep it alive, and the snow basically killed it. So I haven't done anything with that in the back yet. There is some pruning that needs to be happening, and maybe I'll get that on the podcast. But on the front, what I decided to do, thanks to a couple of different people, like neighbor James and then the other James, And if you've been watching the podcast over the seasons, you know who I'm talking about. And I read up on this, is if you're doing it yourself, and which is what I did, I cut down the entire tree. Well, a third of the tree was cut down by some friends of mine over my 50th birthday. 50th birthday. Thank you very much for that. And they removed everything. Well, the rest of it died during Snowmageddon. Just cracked, split, just was done. So I cut the rest of that down, and over a couple of weeks, I had the tree limbs and branches and everything hauled off by the trash people. And then I started cutting away on the stump, and cut the stump down to about, 5 inches above ground, and went through many chainsaw chains trying to cut at an angle, remove some more of it, try to flatten it out, cut some more of it, doing my best that I could to keep it or getting rid of it. Well, what was recommended to me by the two Jameses was, why not start burning out the stump? And I looked it up, and it's something you can do. Just be careful. I myself watered around the entire front yard, basically, to make sure it was saturated and soaked before I did this fire. So basically, it was like I was doing pit firing. So I got some more some hard pressed coal briquettes, and they said they're organic, but of course it is. It has carbon, so let's not go into that. And I poured it out into the hole, or onto the stump, and kind of piled it in a nice pile so that the heat would be more often than not driven, or more likely than not driven inward. And I burned it. I just put some lighter fluid on there, which some people agree or disagree with me on that, because it's going to be used for planting. But I got rid of all of it. So burned it all. And it was good. And I removed the ash that was left over the next week. And I was able to remove some chunks of it. But then I used those chunks as more fire, more kindling. And I burned it again. Burned it a second time. Got that even nicer. Took out more stuff. Took out more ash. Blew out the ash. Sucked it up. Got rid of it. And then I burned it a third time. So a third time I burned the stump. So by this point, it was already about 5 inches below ground at that point. There was still some stump there, but I decided to take a chance. And I cleared out what I could, got rid of the ash and everything, watered it, threw some mulch on there a little bit, and then I set the bag that I have the dwarf tree growing in. So the reason why I didn't take it out of the bag is because it's already been shocked once of me transplanting it from the little thing it came with into that bag. But I also want to try to get a good root system going inside that bag. And I think if I can establish a good root system there, when it starts getting too much as far as that goes, I can always cut the bag away. I mean, it's a very nice cloth bag. It's actually meant to do that. When you get to a point, you can just cut the cloth away and then you're good to go. So that is what I'm going to try to do. That's what I'm going to do. What I'm hoping, I'm trying to do, is get some growth out of it. Right now, unfortunately, the leaves have fallen off it. It looks a little sad. I've been watering it every 2 days, and then maybe some of you may know, it told me to water every 4 days, but because of the heat that has been coming on here lately, every 2 days it is bone dry. So I went back to watering it 2 days. They say don't water it too much because you may drown the roots, but the bag actually filters and sieves the water through nicely, and I have a lot of soil around it, so I think I'm good by watering every 2 days. I want to keep the moisture on there. I'm also thinking about maybe putting a little bit of mulch just on the top layer, very thin, but will help keep the moisture in the bag itself. So today's another day that I'm going to be watering that and the melons. And so we'll see how that goes as far as the growth goes. I'll keep everybody updated on it. I know you're all very just very interested in it, chomping at the bit to know the status of my garden and tree. So, how's that for some randomness? And then on top of that, I hope everybody had a good Labor Day. And I myself picked up some racks, and I wanna show them to you, and see what you guys think about it. So let's go to the racks, and I'll have a voiceover on that. Okay, so Sunday before Labor Day started, there was a notice for some free racks and on a Facebook group. If you're interested, let me know and I can tell you what the group was for the Austin Cedar Park area. Actually, for the Cedar Park area, and this rack and that rack were actually up for grabs for free, and I actually got was picked to be able to get them. They're heavy duty racks. Those are about a 3/4 inch plywood on there. They have casters that support about 250 pounds each. And so I can actually stand on them, and they're fantastic. So this is the prep work. I kind of like wiped them all down, got them ready to go, and then I had some extra spray paint that I was been trying to get rid of, and now I know this is what I do with it. So I started painting this one red, and it actually was almost a full can of spray paint red Rust-Oleum. So I was able to paint this all the way red. And so it turned out really nice, and I was using that board at the bottom to cover. And so then I had two cans that were about half full, so I was able to then do a blue and yellow combination, top half blue, bottom half yellow, and I was able to spray paint that. I just thought it would kick it up a little bit. I'm using these shelves for my gym equipment, and then for my painting stuff, like paint cans that I have around the house and that sort of thing. Turned out to be a really cool little project, so there you go. And there we go. So more randomness for us today. So the racks turned out real nice. I didn't paint the wood, I just painted the metal. And like I said in the voiceover, the casters themselves they're rated for at least 250 pounds per caster. I was able to step on that thing without a problem. Didn't sag, didn't do anything. It is a heavy duty rack. It's really meant probably for a mechanic shop. But the young couple that was giving it away, I wasn't sure if they were moving out or moving in, and they decided that the racks that they didn't need them. So it worked out great for me. I was able to snag them and bring them back, and they were just down the road from me, so it worked out really nice. I didn't have to tie anything down. I went early Monday morning on Labor Day, and it turned out real nice. So that's you'll be seeing them because they're in my garage now, and they actually have opened up a lot more space in my garage for me, so that makes it really nice for when I do the workouts. So speaking of workouts, let's stay with the random. So speaking of workouts, so I do a workout here. I was years ago, my brother and I got certified in CrossFit, level 1, certified in CrossFit kettlebell, CrossFit mobility, and CrossFit strongman. So it was very interesting, very neat. They'll take you at any level because they'll take your money. So I mean that it is a business. So yes, I understand they're trying to do things, but in the end, it is a business. So you pay your money, and if you can remember certain details and you pass the test, and you can do certain movements, whether modified or not, if you can do them and you can remember them, then you can get certified. Like my brother is way more physically agile and mobile than I am, and I do what I can, and it's great. They were very accepting about it, but they in the end there were some movements that I could barely do, but I knew them, and I was able to, I can instruct on them, so that's what I did. Now, I don't call myself a coach by any means because I am not. Maybe call me a trainer, just maybe somebody who's knowledgeable. So I mean, a guy who reads a book a day, his entire life does not make him a librarian. Doesn't make him a historian either. There are certain things that you do to earn that level, and to be a coach, you have to really have at it as far as understanding the movements and understanding what or anything that you do to be really called a coach. I train with people. I show them what I can do. I tell them what they can do. I help them to modify when they can't do certain things because I know how to do it. Because a lot of times I have to make that same modification. So we'll go with that. I do workouts in my garage, hence the needing the rack to have all my kettlebells. So actually I think it's the yellow blue rack, or actually no, it's the red rack I'm using for gym equipment. I put all my kettlebells underneath there, which was really great. Opened up a lot more space for me to move some stuff off of my workbench to underneath the little benches I was using for that show that had all the kettlebells. I was also able to put my sandbells up there, my jump ropes, some of the smaller other accoutrement that goes with the workouts that I do. So if you're interested and you live near me, which is on Hickory Drive, and you want to see what it's all about, just let me know. I'm not taking any money. This is just more for fun. And because I'm not taking money, I work out when I can. I have certain set times that I try to work out. This is not meant to be promoting a business in any way, so I'm not expecting 40, 50 people to show up. If that were to ever happen, then I would have to start looking into a business, but that's not what I want to do. This is more fun. So if you're in the area and you want to get a little bit of a workout in, just let me know. Shoot me an email, shoot me a message. You can comment on here on my podcast, Javier In the Air, and we can go from there. But chances are a lot of times you may not be interested in what I'm doing. I mean, some people want a really hardcore workout, and there's a reason why you pay for a membership to get a hardcore workout, because they will run you through a hardcore workout. If you're like me, I am not motivated by people, by other people, by most other people. There are a couple people that can motivate me. Most of the world cannot. So getting in my face or really trying to be overtly positive, which is not a bad thing, just some people do not like that. I do not like that. So a lot of memberships are not for me. And if you go to a membership that's not coach-led, then to me it's just kind of a waste of my money, because then it's like I can just work out at home. I have a water rower at home. I have kettlebells at home. And the motivation has to be internally for me, or I won't do it. And if a lot of people are out there are like me, you find it difficult. This kind of thing is, we do it for fun. We do it when we can. I hopefully I've helped out some people that have been here to my workout sessions. I won't even call them classes, because that implies that I'm a teacher of some sort. Some sessions. And if you're interested, just let me know. I think we're going to have a Zen moment. This is going to be a short episode today. I was able last Sunday night. We had some quick clouds move in. I think I talked about the cloud banding that we were seeing last week. Bands of dark clouds and then clear sky and then dark clouds. And it was just kind of going through across the Cedar Park area. Well, that night, probably about 9 o'clock or so, and it is getting darker earlier, darn it, but that's what happens this time of year. We got some good thunder and lightning, so I captured it and posted it on Facebook, but I think I'm going to use that for my moment of Zen. So it's going to loop through there, so bear with it, enjoy what you see, and I'm going to add some music to it because that's what I do. So here's your Zen moment. Okay, so that was your Zen moment. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. It was quite interesting, and I really had fun with it. I don't think I'll get that kind of rain today. It's supposed to be like about 54% chance tomorrow, and then varying between 25 and 55 the rest of the week. So we'll see if I get anything from that or not. I don't. The clouds look too puffy and nice today that have been for me to get anything out of it as far as like thunder and lightning goes. Speaking of the outside, I got a nice walk in this morning. It's getting a little bit cooler. So even though that the days are getting shorter, which I'm not happy about because I can't do as much stuff in the evening out around the house, I have to admit that it is getting nicer in the morning. So Friday was 66 degrees, but at around about 7 o'clock, it was 66 degrees. So this morning I got up about 8 o'clock and was out the door by 8:15, and it was 64 degrees. I think it was 64 degrees this morning at 8:15. And it was probably probably about 70, 72 by the time I finished. I went out for about an hour and a half walk, about 3.66 miles. Really nice out there. Thank you to those that honked at me. I'm hoping that it was a positive honk and not a like beep beep. I'll find out. Maybe I'll find out if that was the case or not. But I enjoyed it, and so I was able to get out and enjoy some of the crisp, not crisp. I mean, it's 66. That's not really crisp, but it was nice. Let's put it that way. So I didn't even take my Camelback with me, though I probably should have. I was pretty cotton mouth at the end. But what do you? That's part of my daily routine now. It has been, or at least as much as I can. I've been trying to do that. To be honest with everyone. A walk at least between 4 to 6 days a week, anywhere between a mile to like today 3.66 miles. Just depends on how my body's feeling that day and whether I'm having a workout or not. What is part of your daily routine as far as exercise goes? I am not a life coach by any means. I do have my dark times. I am not a Mr. Super Positive person. I know it's hard for some people to believe, but I am not a hardcore super positive person. And so, but there are times that I try to do my best to help out my fellow man. And being healthy these days, I'm trying my best to promote that with people. So I'd like to know what your routine is. Even if you have bad knees like I do, I have full-blown arthritis in my left knee and pretty good amount in my right knee. I've had surgery in my left knee. I have the type 2 diabetes that I talk about. I have the high blood pressure that I talk about. And so there are some issues like that I have, but yet I just keep trying to get out there and walk because I know the less I do, the more atrophy my body will be, the worse I'll get. And so I'm trying to keep that, daily minimum of medications to, right now it's only one. So I'm trying to keep that down to that level. And so I'd like to try to keep all my friends and family around as much as possible. So get out and walk about. If you exercise, keep it up. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, some people, really enjoy the group embodiment of people working out, like you would do like at a membership with, like, say, like a CrossFit type place, some sort of group thing, Camp Gladiator, things like that. I'm not promoting one over the other. They both do what they're supposed to do. Which is to get people moving. So, kudos to both of them and all the other ones that are out there. If group is not your thing and you like to be on your own, then just get out there and do it. There's plenty of gyms for that. Do what you can and get out and move around. So, let's go into our beer section, and then I'm gonna have one more thing at the end to talk about, and then we'll call it a day. So I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit so I have room. So here is something from Threes Brewing. Looks like SFY. It's a double IPA. It's 1 pint. Threes Brewing out of Clifton Park, New York. 8.3 ABV. Good for you guys. Good for Threes Brewing. 8.3 is always a nice thing for me. Let's see. Is there anything else about it? It has a bunch of sheep on it, so I'm not sure what that means. Maybe someone can let me know. Here's the look on it. So there's the Threes Brewing, and there's the sheep. I see one dark one, so maybe it's black sheep. I don't know. It doesn't give me anything that tells me another name for it. So SFY, I'm assuming is some acronym or some initials for something that I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. So here we go. I'm gonna open it up. So, and for those of you who've been asking, yes, I don't drink a beer every day. Not after I stopped doing the 100 days of beer for my friends, but I do enjoy it, and so I will drink the one. I always start and finish the one that I have for the show. So let me get this pour going here. So this is an IPA. I think it's not a. It is a double IPA, so that means really on the heavy side of the hops. So here we have a look at it. Very citrus smell to it, which is a sign of the hops that they're using. Very nice, good head on it. Really good. It's foaming up. It's our looks like a little carbonation. It might be eating away on something on the glass. I don't know. That's why I was looking at the glass earlier. Really good though. Like I said, a nice aroma to it. It's strong on the front end, not overly subtle on the back end. Definitely a good beer. You can tell a little bit. Now, for those of you that drink much lighter beers, very low on the ABV. The higher you get on the ABV, the more you can kind of taste the alcoholic content to it. Now, alcohol itself, doesn't really have, a flavor unless you start adding things to it. So you can have like a Everclear, which has no taste to it at all. Hits you in the face, but it's got no taste to it. But that's not how we normally drink things. Vodka has the taste from potatoes, and wine has it from the taste of the grapes and the types of grape, and beer has it a lot from the hops and other things that they add to it. However, the higher you start getting in alcohol, like your whiskeys, like your bourbon, stuff like that, you can really start tasting the alcoholic content to it, which is why sometimes you get that alcoholic shake. You see somebody do a shot and then they go, oh, oh. It's because their taste buds are hitting that alcohol and they're like, what is this? And it comes over very strong. So, and you can tell that. And you can try this yourself. Have your low ABV beers like your Coors and your Bud Light and even your Yingling, which I'll probably do a Yingling next week because everybody's all excited about it being in town. I'm not overly so. I had one last night. It kind of reminds me of a Schlitz. And it was like 6.3 ABV, so it wasn't that bad. But we'll go into that. That's a tangent. That's a randomness. We'll go into that next week, if I can get one by then. But the more alcohol the more alcohol is in, or the more amount of alcohol is in your beverage, the more you should be able to taste it. It's like when you drink a margarita. You know the alcohol is there because you can taste it. Sometimes you can taste the flavor of that alcohol, but a lot of times you can tell when something is strong or when something is weak. If somebody makes a bad margarita and it doesn't have a lot of alcohol in it, it's overly sweet and you're not going to really taste anything. If you have people like I do that are heavy-handed in their pouring of tequila, you're going to be able to taste that when you drink the margarita. So this beer is really good, SFY. There's a little black sheep. I'm still thinking it's black sheep, but I don't know. Three's Brewing out of New York. I like it. You can taste a little bit of the alcoholic content to it because it is in the 8 range, but it's not bad. You get that citrus taste coming from the hops, I feel. It doesn't tell me what else is in there, so I'm assuming it's purely the hops from a double IPA that you're getting that citrus aroma to, and a little bit of the taste in the beginning. So I'm going to give this I think I'm going to give this a 7.5. So 7.5 thumbs up, and it's really good. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to come back with one final thing to talk about before I end the podcast. So cheerio. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Javier in the Air. If you noticed, I was messing around with some effects, trying some different things, trying to get some more interesting looks to my show and not just the same old wall. Maybe I'll start being able to have them outside or have them in a different area and be on the move type of thing, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes. Now for this final part, for everybody, of course, knows that yesterday was the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and a very somber day in American history, very tragic day. And I just wanted to talk briefly on that before I let everybody go. I know where I was. I'm sure everybody who was alive at that time knows where they were, and it was bad. It was not something that if you were around, you're ever going to forget. The thing about history and the thing about terrible events is that time will take things away. So time will help to alleviate some of the pain and sorrow for those who were there and survived the Twin Towers going down or survived from the Pentagon. And it won't take away everything. It's gonna take a little bit away of the steam. Time is good like that. We'll try to remove some of the pain and sorrow that you have from these things and other things that are bad in our history and your own personal history. It's not going to make you forget. It's not going to make things go away. It's just something that gives you a little bit more perspective as far as distance between when it happened and where you are now. So there was a lot of very solemn celebrations yesterday. Not celebration, but remembrances of people who have passed during 9/11, and a lot of memorials and a lot of differences of opinions on what's going on. But in the end run, we were all sad to see that happen on our in our country, on our land. Was probably one of the first times that a lot of people had some bad things, really group mass terrible things that happened compared to hearing about it far away in another country. So yeah, there's crime here, there's violence here, people get shot every day. People die for different stupid things, but it was really the first time in modern history that such a large group of Americans died at once. I hope you were spending time with your loved ones if you could. Stop maybe for just a minute or two to think about back then. Maybe you have little ones, people that are under 20 years of age, who never were around and had to experience what happened on that day. And so the good thing about time is that it helps to heal some of the wounds. It doesn't take them away, and it doesn't take them all. It doesn't ever take it all away. But remembrance is good. To remember a thing is to make sure that it's never forgotten and hopefully will not be repeated again. So think about that. And then on a side note, think about people who have left us, left the world, and remember them, because maybe it's been quite a few years since my grandfather and grandmother passed, and before that my other grandmother and grandfather passed quite a long time ago. But I try to remember them every now and then, and it's good to remember them. It's good to have stories about them. Hopefully a lot of them are good stories. I have many good stories of both sets of grandparents, and so talk about it. One of the things I like to enjoy is that joy is in the ears that hear. I got that from an author, Stephen R. Donaldson, and the character was really trying to say, just if you talk about things, things will feel better for you. They're not taking away the pain, but they may help ease the pain. So if you have a chance and you were there during 9/11, or you were around during 9/11, and you maybe in another town. I know I wasn't anywhere close to New York City, but I could still talk about the day that happened and how we all felt. So if you have any young ones, maybe it might be good to sit them down and talk to them about it, so they have an understanding of it, because history doesn't go away, it just gets forgotten. And so we really don't want to forget about that day, or your family or friends who have gone from us. So I'm going to leave us on a little bit of a solemn note, but I thought it was important to bring it up since yesterday was 9/11. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the day and good rest of the week, and I will see you again next week. So have a good one. Thanks, everybody.